pH is a big topic, and there's a lot that we know about pH, and there's a lot that we don't. Deep and I are not medical experts. We're not scientists. We just do research, just like anyone else. But pH is important in terms of our body. Our body's internal pH wants to be slightly alkaline, and so we've found that, and it started with Dr. Robert Young and some of his, when he wrote the book, it really hit the mainstream. pH is either something is alkaline or acidic. It is either a basic or an acid. We learned this in high school. Most of our internal environment should be alkaline, and it should be basic, right? It should be above 7 on the pH scale. And so the inputs that we have, the food, the water, the air that we breathe, the more alkalinity that we can get in these things, for the most part, the better it is for our health. The problem with alkaline and acid balance now is that as a culture, in our food, in our air, and in our water, we've introduced a lot more acidity. And that acidity is bringing the internal milieu, the internal environment of our bodies below basic, and that creates acidic conditions that are debilitating, that shorten our lives, that make us sicker, that are related to other disease, that are the breeding ground for almost all other diseases. When it gets real extreme, acidosis, you could have GERD, you could have diabetes, you could have heart disease, and they could have all originated from an acidic environment over time. And so that's why it's really important to keep your
and also like to become alkaline, it really is so much easier just, to drink water and get that alkalinity than to, if you had to eat the, raw foods, especially, vegetables, how many would you have to eat in order to...
Right, because really the only alkaline foods out there are really just raw fruits and nuts. Raw fruits and vegetables, rather. And so everything else is some form of acidity, some worse than others, right? So it's about balance. It's about balance being harder in the modern world to affect, right? We just have so many more acidic choices than we used to have, and we've got to fight that, right?
And in our busy lives, it's really hard to eat have that right balance with the foods, but it is very easy to drink the right water.
Right.
It's a lot more effective too.
And it always comes back to your internal resources, right? We're giving the body the alkalinity that it needs so it can do its job, right? It has all of these mechanisms in place already. You could make that argument that we don't need to increase, but we're making it that there's just an excess of acidity in this world, and that just needs to be balanced.
So one thing we have to remember is that alkalinity by itself is meaningless. How it alkalizes your body, that's why that whole pH aspect becomes confusing for people. And there's, the bottled waters that say pH 9.5 and all of this. They're not. We've tested a lot of them. They just say it, and, apparently you can say anything.